think we are recording. Excellent. Thanks everyone so much for joining us. I'm so excited to be here with, fun fact, Carol, first person I met at my first PyCon US, literally holding the door open. If that's not a metaphor for Carol as a human, I don't know what is. And Naomi, who when I helped start the PyLadies Chicago chapter, I found Naomi on LinkedIn and had 801 questions, and Naomi's always been that person I can bring. Now it's like 1201 questions, but that's always been this great relationship I have with these two amazing PyLadies, people who are here to leave more behind than how the community was when they arrived. So thank you so much, both of you, for being here today. Quick intro, my name is Lorena Mesa. My pronouns are she and her, and I help organize PyLadies Chicago. I did a little bit of introduction to you both, but if you both wouldn't mind doing an introduction with your name, pronouns, and a bit of, your origin story with Python and PyLadies. Whomever wants to go first.
Go ahead, Carol.
Okay, thanks, Naomi. I'm Carol Willing. My pronouns are she and her. I have been involved locally with PyLadies San Diego and PyLadies Southern California, and also with the global efforts within PyLadies. My journey with Python probably started in earnest in 2013 when I met an amazing person, Shauna Gordon McKeon, who was working on outreach called Open Hatch, with people making their first contributions to open source. And the rest is sort of history, I guess. Naomi?
Yeah, Naomi Ceder, she, her. I started with Python in 2001. It was actually August 28th, I think. I know that because I was at Linux World in San Francisco and I went to a day-long seminar on this weird unknown language Python given by this guy, Guido van Rossum. And I was completely taken with it. I was at a school at the time and I rewrote our computer curriculum on the plane home to use Python, and we started teaching it within months after that. So it was love at first sight. And then over the years, I gave talks to education groups, and I did various things for PyCon's Education Summit, among other things, where I first ran into Carol Willing, and just a bunch of stuff like that. And then for 3 years, I was chair of the board of the Python Software Foundation. So that's me. PyLadies, when I transitioned in 2012, 2013, PyLadies was immediately a welcoming and safe environment for me, and I will never forget that.
I'm very happy for that, because you have given us so much. That Naomi is one of the kindest, most thoughtful, positive people I know. And I'm really glad that we have you in the Python community, because if I look back at the 5 years that you were on the Python Software Foundation board, amazing growth in so many different directions. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so if I get like misty-eyed during this all, or like 3 tears, I'm just gonna imagine I'm living my best telenovela life. Soap opera.
There you go.
Perfect.
But as you can see, these two women are such pillars in everything they do. They bring their full selves to this work without a second question. I think if I ask, can y'all help me with this? It's not, no, it's great how when it's always just a great continuity of thinking about how do we move forward together and make sure we bring our collective values together and build a better space for everyone. So I thank you both so much. And I mean, also Carol, you're doing amazing things with Core Python. I don't know if you want to talk a little about that.
Sure. Core Python is the folks that create, along with the community, the Python language itself. And I've had the pleasure of the last 3 years serving on the Python Steering Council, which is a 5-member board that helps guide the direction of Python.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for that humble but brief overview of that. And I think that's one of the things that's really fascinating about Python is we have so many ways for you to continue your journey, be it you are a hobbyist, you're an educator, you're someone who's just wanting to learn a new skill set, or hey, you're using Python to take an image of a black hole, or, you know, putting a really cute rover named Perseverance on Mars. So considering that there's so much in this space and considering the breadth of your experience, I just wanted to ask you both, if we were to think about that from the perspective of PyLadies, what has PyLadies meant to you?
Well, again, I think, you know, it's been a safe and welcoming space for a lot of people who wouldn't have found it otherwise. And I think that cannot be underestimated. I think the question always arises, you know, why would you have a women-only group? Isn't that somehow putting women aside, keeping them out of the mainstream? And I think what they don't understand is just the ability to breathe and relax in a space that is not as challenging as maybe some other spaces is what really helps people get established and then go on to take on much larger challenges and things like that. It's a starting place that I think keeps us welcoming and gets more people involved in the community. I don't think that can be underestimated.
Yeah, I mean, I think personally, I think PyLadies has been such a source of encouragement, and also, you know, the safe space for me was absolutely critical. And I think, you know, that ability to be your authentic self, to ask questions without somebody saying, oh, that's not a good question to ask, as well as, you know, just the ability to share resources, to share knowledge, and watch lots of people grow together. And I think that sort of education focus, even if it's informal, is so important, because you see people coming from complete beginners to then becoming tutorial givers at PyCons around the world. And I think by having a safe space, I think what it does is it lets people grow and make mistakes and get better. And I think the whole Python community benefits from that. I know in San Diego, as PyLadies grew, so did the interactions within San Diego Python. And now in that meetup group, it's very hard to tell the difference between what's PyLadies and what's just, you know, Pythonistas doing cool things with Python.
I love that so much. I mean, there's been a lot of interesting dialogue, I think, around when it comes to open source and community, and particularly the growing rise of no matter what, technology is a part of everything we do, right? And if we don't think about how we take care of one another in these spaces, particularly as the medium of what to build community changes, you know, we're not, I think, checking in with our core values. And I think, as you both said, bringing our true authentic selves to the work and to the space and being a human in this world. So I think you both bring some really interesting touch points on that. And actually that dovetails very well with this year's International Women's Day theme, Choose to Challenge. So that's a large theme, and I'm curious how you might interpret that theme in relation to, be it the Python community or PyLadies explicitly. How does this message kind of resonate with you both?
Well, so I think one feature of the past 12 months, given what they've been, has been that there's been a rise of international meetups with people calling in from all over. And I know over the past 12 months, I think I must have done something like 22, I don't know, online things where I've talked to a lot of people doing Python, a lot of women, a lot of PyLadies groups around the world. And they are all really there partly because of the challenge. Both the challenge of learning something new and developing possibly a new career and moving in new directions and improving their lives. But even to be there, they're facing challenges with, managing children, with trying to keep the household together, with doing lots of things that, are the things that they have to do. So, that's what I said earlier. It was easy to talk about this. I see in PyLadies chapters around the world, incredible women everywhere rising to the challenge and meeting it. So yeah, it's right on for me.
Yeah, I mean, for me, there's lots of ways I could go with choose to challenge. I mean, I could do the very straightforward challenge stereotypes and the status quo, but even more so, I think the challenge to listen to each other, to first seek to understand somebody's perspective, and Naomi does this exceedingly well, and then respond to the changes that are happening both in our personal lives as well as in, a more global sense, such as, the challenges we've had with the pandemic this year, because I think resilience and change are two things that are going to get us further in the long run.
I am like having goosebumps listening to you both talk. And I think that this is just both of what you're speaking to, the notion of understanding where you come from, using that to inform how you do the work today to inform what is tomorrow, is a really great way for us to think about, what comes next for PyLadies. If it's you're thinking a calendar month, a calendar year, or 200 years in the future. I'm a Trekkie, so live long and prosper. So when Python's clearly doing that. What are you looking forward to next for PyLadies as a community?
I mean, I think we're all looking forward to being able to meet in person again. Let's just say the obvious right away. But I also think that I guess I'm not so sure my crystal ball is clear enough I can say specific things, but I think that we are in a position where we are facing a lot of challenges right now. But I think that if we rise to those challenges, and by we, I'm talking about PyLadies and people of goodwill everywhere, but we can actually do some real positive good, make some positive changes for the future as well. This is a moment of crisis, a moment of change. That means that there is an opportunity for us to continue to improve things. And that's what I would encourage everybody to think about in this context.
Wow, that's hard to follow up because my heart is totally with it there. I mean, we have such amazing individuals throughout the world. And I think, helping them get what they need to succeed and prosper is really, I think, one of the missions of Python in general. Python, programming languages, there's lots of them out there. And why do you use a programming language? It's to get something meaningful done. And we're exceedingly fortunate in the Python world, at least in most spaces, to have the ability to take the language, to take complete beginners and watch them soar and do really meaningful work in their communities and beyond. And I think that is, to me, is priceless.
I want to thank you both for taking time out of what I know is very busy schedules for you, because even though the world's a bit different, I know that Naomi's going to like all of the meetups. Carol, I know you're doing all the work as well, both from, you all creating space for others, helping us keep kind of our vision looking forward, but also reaching out to everyone and helping us think critically about why we do the work we do. So I want to thank you both for your time today. And if people did want to kind of continue the conversation, what would be a space they could find you all at, be it if it's pyladies.com or whatever that may be?
For me personally, PyLadies Slack is really one of the best places. Otherwise, at mentioning me on GitHub is probably also a really good place, because I spend a lot of my time with code and in that space.
Yeah, certainly. I'm on the PyLadies Slack as well. That's a perfect place.
Excellent. Thank you so much. You all have a great rest of your weekend. And everyone, thank you so much for tuning in for this fantastic conversation. We hope to catch you in PyLadies Slack is where everyone said we'll be. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. My
Thank
pleasure.
you.